In the previous classes, we have started this topic, which is laws of motion. So, I'm just recalling whatever we have learned in the previous class. So, we have discussed force. So, force is nothing but a push or pull kind of activity. So, these are push or pull must be acting on a body in a direction. If you consider this to be a body, then this might be a push force, and if you
Sir, can you please zoom in the page a little bit?
sure, is this good? I hope this good, right? So if you
Yes,
consider this body again, and this is pull, right? So if you exert a force on this body, this might be a push and this might be a pull. So these are what a force is nothing but a push or pull, and directions are important on this whenever we talk about force. So force is a vector quantity. Plus, we can also recall, we will also see what is the SI units and dimensions of a force as well. Uh, Before that, so the second point, it says that force occurs in pairs. So if A body exerts a force on B, then B also exerts a force on A, right? This is what we see, that this force turns out to be equal in magnitude but opposite in direction, right? Equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. This is what, this is third law. We will see that also, right? Just like if you recall, if you have seen any cricket match, then if you analyze a Dhoni's helicopter shot, what he does when he hits the ball with a bat, if when he hits the ball with a bat, then the bat exerts a force on the ball so that the ball crosses the boundary. So when the bat hits the ball, the bat exerts a force on the ball, as well as at the same time the ball also exerts a force on the bat. So this is what the second point means. The third point says a force can cause a body to accelerate. If you understand, let's, on a football match, when a Messi kicks a football, then you might observe that if this is a goal post, and when Messi kicks the ball, sometimes the ball turns around and enters the goalpost. So when he kicks the ball's velocity changes, and when the velocity changes with respect to time, you say the ball is accelerating. Accelerating is rate of change of velocity. So force also changes the velocity of the body. Now remember, velocity is a vector quantity, so it must have a magnitude as well as a direction. So even if the magnitude remains constant and direction changes, then also velocity is changing, right? Whenever, if in case of a velocity is only the direction changes, the magnitude remains constant, then also forces, there is a force in it. For example, if you consider a circular motion, if you consider a circular motion, we will discuss all these things in circular motion also. Whenever a circular motion, if you assume this to be a center and a body of mass m rotating about this center at a distance of r, so this body will have, at every point, this body will have a same tangential velocity. At every point this body will have, यहाँ पे भी v होगा, यहाँ पे भी v होगा, यहाँ पे भी v होगा, यहाँ पे भी v होगा. वेलोसिटी की मैग्नीट्यूड हर जगह पर सेम है, बट क्या हो रहा है, ये पॉइंट अगर a मानो और ये पॉइंट अगर b मानो, तो a पॉइंट और b पॉइंट में यहाँ पे वेलोसिटी की डायरेक्शन ये है, यहाँ पे वेलोसिटी की डायरेक्शन ये है. तो यहाँ पे डायरेक्शन चेंज हो रहा है बट वेलोसिटी की मैग्नीट्यूड सेम है. सो इन दिस केस देयर इज अ फोर्स कॉल्ड सेंट्रीपिटल फोर्स. Centripetal force. So this centripetal force changes the velocity का direction in a circular motion, in a uniform circular motion. अगर non uniform circular motion है, then the velocity magnitude may also change. Okay, in a uniform circular motion, velocity's magnitude remains constant, but the direction changes, and because the direction of the velocity is changing of a body which is performing a circular motion, you say that there is a force exerted on the body which is causing the direction of the velocity to change. So if the velocity is changing, that means there is acceleration. So force causes acceleration. Acceleration is the effect of the action of a force. So force is the cause, acceleration is the effect. Fourth point, a force can deform a body. Now imagine a car accident. So if two car rams towards each other, then you see that the car is basically both, if both of these car rams towards each other, then you see that both the cars are damaged. So this damage, can you say it is as deformation? So when a force is exerted, the body's dimensions change, so it gets deformed. So force can also cause a car accident, right? This is an interesting example of a spring balance. What happens in a spring balance? Spring balance uses this property of a force which causes deformation in a body. What happens in a spring balance? Let's say this is the surface, and let's say here is your spring balance, and let's say through this spring balance you hung an apple. Okay, you want to measure the weight of this apple. So what happens in a spring balance? There is a spring inside it. So springs, when it is unstretched, when it is unstretched, when it is unstretched, so let's assume that the length of the spring is L, and when it is stretched, when it is stretched, so when you hung an apple through a spring balance, so of course the length of the spring will be stretched, and let's say that is L dash. So when you hung an apple, when you hung an apple through a spring balance, so what happens here? There is a deformation. First of all, it was unstretched and then it became stretched, so there is deformation. L original shape था, L से वो L dash पे आ गया, so deformation हो गया कितना? L dash minus L का. तो इतना डिफॉर्मेशन क्यों हुआ है? क्योंकि ये एप्पल अपना वेट के अमाउंट ऑफ फोर्स इस स्प्रिंग पे एक्सर्ट कर रहा था. तो क्योंकि ये एप्पल इस स्प्रिंग बैलेंस पे फोर्स एक्सर्ट कर रहा है, तो इसके वजह से जो यहाँ पे ग्रेजुएशंस होंगी, जो यहाँ पे रीडिंग्स होंगी, वो आपको इस एप्पल का वेट का रीडिंग देगा. तो the property of a force which causes deformation in a body, this property is used in a spring balance also. Clear until this? All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. So moving on, uh, there are certain types of forces which we have discussed in the earlier class. One was your weight, then there was normal force. We have drawn the free body diagrams, how to identify what kind of forces and all are there. So let's talk about, recall this weight. Weight is always, remember, it's a pull kind of force. So we have also seen weight is what? It is equals to mass of the body multiplied by the acceleration due to gravity, which is generally represented by g, and approximately the value is 10 meter per second square, or precisely it is 10.8 meter per second square. So mass times of the acceleration due to gravity is the weight of the body, and this weight is the force exerted by earth on the body, right? And this is an attractive kind of force. Also you can remember that this is always moves, this is a pull kind of force. So if you consider this as the ground and there is a body of mass m here, so the weight will be mg in this direction. So this mg is the force exerted by earth on this body. So according to Newton's third law, the body will exert same equal but in opposite direction a force on the earth which is in this direction. But because the mass of the earth is many times more than the mass of the body, so this exertion of this force does not bring any change in the velocity or the shape or any changes on the earth per se. Okay, and it always points towards the ground. This is also pretty much easy to understand. Then we have seen this normal force. Normal force, remember, normal force is a push kind of force. Gravitation was a pull kind of force. Normal is a push kind of force, right? And direction is important, is always perpendicular to the surfaces in contact. And different contact surfaces means different normal force, right? This also we have seen means different normal force. And there were multiple examples in this sheet, like if you have a body like this, so you say this is the surface in contact. So due to this surface in contact, the ground will exert a force n on this, and this body will also exert a force on the ground, because you consider the motion of this body, so you consider only this force. Okay, if there is an inclined surface at an angle theta, so what do? You take a body here, mass m, you take the, because direction of this force is always perpendicular to the surfaces in the contact. So this is the surface in the contact, so it will be always perpendicular to here. One more example we have seen. Let's talk about spheres. स्फीयर्स में भी हमने देखा था कि कैसे आ रहे थे, कि अगर मान लो ये सरफेस है और अगर हमने यहाँ पे स्फीयर लिया हुआ है, स्फीयर का नॉर्मल ये टेंजेंट हो जाता है, टेंजेंट का नॉर्मल रेडियल डायरेक्शन में होता है, तो ऐसा लग रहा होगा। अगर आपने दो सरफेसेस ले लिए हैं, लेट्स अज्यूम कि ऐसा है, और आपने लेट्स अज्यूम कि दीज आर दी, ऐसा आपका स्फीयर है. So this is a point of contact, this is a point of contact, so this is the tangent here, this is the tangent here, and the normal forces are always normal to it. तो ये इस पे ऐसा फोर्स एक्सर्ट करेगा n1, ये इस पे ऐसा फोर्स एक्सर्ट करेगा n2, and because these are the normals, so normals always passes through the center of the sphere. ठीक है, always passes through the center of the sphere. These are some points to remember about the normal forces. As on we go on solving different types of questions, we will get better accustomed to the drawing of these forces, okay, when we draw free body diagrams and all. Moving on. Okay, this we haven't discussed, I suppose. Tension ka, please respond.
No, sir.
Okay, so this is tension. Tension is again
You gave a question.
Sorry.
Sir, you have given a question about
Sure, we will discuss more questions also. But first of all, there are some points which I don't think I have told you in the previous class. So these are the 3 points which you need to focus on when we discuss about tension. So tension, just like oh my bad, just like the forces, the weight was a pull kind of force and the normal force was a push kind of force. So remember, uh, tension is a pull kind of force. Okay, so if I take a body here and this is the surface, and let's say you are standing here and this is a string. Okay, so you assume, let's say you are pulling this string, so this string, there will be a tension in this string, remember. So tension due to the origin of this force is due to the intermolecular forces between the atoms of this string, because there will be atoms inside it, each atom will be pulling other atoms towards itself, they always try to be together. So because they always try to be together, so there is a tension in this string. So this is the origin. And remember the direction. This tells you about the direction. It always points away from the point of contact. So if you take this string, I am just taking out this string. So this string, there is a point of contact, this point, and there is a point of contact, this. A is a point of contact between the string and the body, and B is a point of contact between the string and the man, right? So these are 2 points of contact. So the tension force is a pull kind of force, and it points always away from the point of contact. So this is the point of contact. So iske away मतलब ऐसा, ये point of contact है, इसका भी away होगा, तो ऐसा away plus along the string, ठीक है? So हमेशा ऐसा होगा. Okay, this is a case. First case is when a string is massless and frictionless. Okay, first case is massless and a string frictionless string. Then we will discuss of only what happens when string is only massless. That means it has friction, but it is massless. And next case is it has mass, also it has friction. So let's assume to be this a pulley, एंड अज्यूम इसके अक्रॉस मैंने एक स्ट्रिंग लगाया हुआ है, यहाँ पे एक बॉडी है, यहाँ पे एक बॉडी है, ठीक है? तो अब इसमें देखो कि अगर इफ दिस इज इन द फर्स्ट केस, हम लोग फर्स्ट केस डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, इन दिस केस this is a point of contact, this is a point of contact, this is a point of contact, this is a point of contact. So, and for all these points of contact, the tension force is a pull kind of force. So my, for this point of contact, the tension would be pulling this body. So aisa. For this point of contact, the tension would be pulling this body. So aisa. For this point of contact, again the tension would be pulling this body. For this point of contact, again pulling this pulley. Okay. Remember, I have taken the capital T is the symbol which we represent tension with. And I have given the T ka value same everywhere. This happens in the case 1 when it is frictionless plus it is massless. When string has no mass, negligible mass and negligible friction, then tension is constant throughout the string. What we say, when the string is frictionless and massless, the tension is constant throughout the string. The value of the tension is constant throughout the string. Okay. Next case, if we have friction, then what will happen? We have to see. So for this point of contact, my force would be in this direction. This point of contact, my force would be in this direction. This point of contact, pull. This point of contact, pull. ठीक है? In this string, because friction अब यहाँ पर है, हम लोग का relative motion, friction हमेशा remember, friction comes into picture when there is relative motion between two bodies in contact, as normal force was in picture when there was contact between two surfaces. Friction will always be present when there is contact between two surfaces. For any other force, like for gravitational force, there is no need of contact between the bodies. This gravitational force was exerted when two bodies having different masses are separated by a distance d. But normal force, to come into picture, you need two bodies to be in contact. For friction force to be in come into picture, you need two bodies to be in contact, and along that contact surfaces there must be relative motion for friction. Okay, so the friction, the normal reaction and friction forces are grouped under contact forces, and like gravitational force, electrostatic force, magnetic force, all these are non-contact forces. Okay, this is also one classification based on types of forces. Okay, when there is friction with the pulley, because the contact is here, so relative motion bhi yahan pe hoga, so yahan pe friction hai. So in this part of the string, there will be different tension, and this part of the string there will be different tension. So if you assume here T1 है तो यहाँ पे भी T1 होगा because this string is same. यहाँ पे अगर T2 है तो यहाँ पे भी T2 होगा. So if there is massless, if the string is massless but has friction, if it has friction but it is massless, then the tension will not be constant throughout the string, but it will be constant through a part of the string. Okay, this part of the string you have constant tension, this part of the string you have constant uniform tension. Okay, and next case is your when you have both friction as well as different mass. So if you have both mass, no need to draw the diagram. If you have mass as well as friction, then tension is varying. It varies throughout the length. It varies throughout the length. कहीं पे भी सेम नहीं होगा. अगर यही स्ट्रिंग का अगर मैं एग्जांपल ले लूं तो यहाँ पे T1 और थोड़े और डिस्टेंस पे T2, कहीं पे भी कुछ भी हो सकता है डिपेंडिंग ऑन द मास ऑफ दैट सेगमेंट. This is what these are given in this point. For a massless and frictionless string, the tension is same throughout. For only massless string, tension is different at different points of contact. For string with mass and friction, tension varies at every point on the string. So this must be point. Okay. Next, okay, this fourth point, if force is applied directly on the string, then the tension is directly equal to the applied force. What does this mean? This means if let's say in this example, what I said that you are standing here, you exerted a force on this string, right? Let's say in this question it is given to you that F is the amount of force the man is exerting on the string. Okay, F is the amount of force the man is exerting on the string, or it is given F is the amount of force with which this man is pulling this block through the string. So what does this fourth statement mean? It means is this force, the amount of force applied by the body is directly equal to the tension in the string. The tension in the string. Okay, this just means this only. ये इतना important इसलिए है कि अगर हम लोग string को का कुछ मास ले लेते हैं ना, तो अगर हम लोग string का कुछ मास ले लेते हैं तो आप लोगों को ये true नहीं होगा, because this is true only for massless string. वो आप देख लेंगे, हम लोग अभी देखेंगे जब सेकेंड लॉ ऑफ मोशन के बेसिस पे हम लोग एक्सेलरेशन वाला लॉज ऑफ इक्वेशन ऑफ मोशंस लिखेंगे, तब हम लोग देखेंगे कि ये इक्वेशन कैसे चेंज होता है फॉर स्ट्रिंग विथ वेरिंग यूनिफॉर्मली वेरिंग मासेस. हम लोग देखेंगे ये चीज. ओके, सो न्यूटन्स फर्स्ट लॉ also we have seen. I hope this is what I have told. So this is the statement. I presume that these are pretty basic statements. Important thing is this dictates about law of inertia. This dictates law of inertia. Inertia is what? If it is state of rest, then it will always try to be state of rest. If it is moving with uniform velocity, it will move with uniform velocity until unless an external force is applied on it. So इसका example क्या हो जाता है? Example हो जाता है again pretty simple. If you are standing in a bus or moving in a car or moving in a train, let's say you are sitting in a train and the train is moving first of all, and then suddenly the train stops. Then what happens? You experience a jerk in the direction of the moving body. So let's say if this is the body and you are sitting here, so let's say after some time this is t equals to 0, after some t equals to t, this stops. So you will experience a jerk in the direction of the previous motion of the body. So why you experience the jerk? Because inside this body you were at rest. So according to law of inertia, there was no force exerting on you because you were at rest. So if you are at rest, that means you are in equilibrium. There is no force exerting on the body, no net force exerted on the body. So if there is no net force exerted on the body, so when the body tries, when the this car comes at rest, so your body will again try to be at rest. So that's why it will experience, sorry, in this case it was moving with uniform velocity, and when it is at rest, so your body will uh, try to maintain its motion, though the carriage or the car came at rest. Here it was moving with velocity v, here it came at rest. Though the carriage came at rest, but your body was still moving with initial velocity. So that's why you experience a jerk in the direction of the initial motion of the body. Okay, so this was your first law. So it says the vectorial sum of all the forces must be 0, then the body will be in equilibrium. And there are two types of equilibrium. One is static equilibrium and one is dynamic equilibrium. Static equilibrium, the body will be at rest. Dynamic equilibrium, the body moves with constant velocity. So F net is 0 in both the cases. F net is 0 in both the cases. But F net is 0, मतलब आपकी body equilibrium पे है. Your body is in equilibrium. But if it is equilibrium is a static kind of equilibrium.
So what does equilibrium mean?
Yes, boy. Uh, Equilibrium means your net force exerted on the body is 0. Net force exerted on the body is 0 means equilibrium. ठीक है, इक्विलिब्रियम मतलब आपको मान लो आप यहाँ खड़े हो और टग ऑफ वॉर हो रहा है और यहाँ से आपको एक बंदा खींच रहा है और यहाँ से भी आपको एक बंदा खींच रहा है और आप कहीं पे भी मूव नहीं कर पा रहे हो. ये जितना फोर्स से खींच रहा है ये भी आपको उतने ही फोर्स से खींच रहा है, तो आप कहीं पे भी मूव नहीं करोगे. तो मैं बोलूंगा बिकॉज आप पे नेट फोर्स 0 है तो आप इक्विलिब्रियम पे हो. सिंपल. ठीक है, इक्विलिब्रियम का मतलब यही होता है कि नेट फोर्स 0 है और कुछ नहीं. तो अगर इक्विलिब्रियम है, इक्विलिब्रियम दो तरीके के हैं. इक्विलिब्रियम एक है स्टैटिक इक्विलिब्रियम और एक है डायनामिक इक्विलिब्रियम. हम अभी क्वेश्चंस करेंगे तो आपको और ज्यादा क्लैरिटी मिलेगा इन सब चीजों पे. तो स्टैटिक इक्विलिब्रियम में क्या होता है कि नेट फोर्स 0 है, ट्रू, बट इसमें आपका बॉडी भी रेस्ट पे होगा. ठीक है. डायनामिक इक्विलिब्रियम में क्या है कि आपका नेट फोर्स 0 है बिकॉज आप इक्विलिब्रियम में हो, बट आपका वेलोसिटी क्या है, वो यूनिफॉर्म वेलोसिटी है. ठीक है, आप यूनिफॉर्म वेलोसिटी के साथ जा रहे हो. क्लियर है? कोई डाउट पूछ सकते हो अभी. आई एम मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट शीट. इक्विलिब्रियम वाला चीज क्लियर है? हम लोग अभी देखेंगे आगे भी और क्वेश्चन. तो स्टैटिक इक्विलिब्रियम में नेट फोर्स 0 होगा बट रेस्ट पे होगा बॉडी. डायनामिक इक्विलिब्रियम पे नेट फोर्स 0 होगा बट बॉडी वुड बी मूविंग विद यूनिफॉर्म वेलोसिटी. सिंपल इनफ. ओके, we will discuss these all things in question. So this is your second law. If net external force is applied, then the body of applied on the body, then the body accelerates, and direction of acceleration is same as the net force applied on the body. If you consider this to be your body, this is the ground, and if this is mass m, F force is applied to it. So let's say if F force is applied, this body will move, accelerate with A acceleration. So F will be equal to m times of A, right? So this force turns out to be, and the direction of this force will dictate the direction of the acceleration. This is just this. So net force applied on the body is equals to product of the mass and acceleration of the body. Okay. Some points about the dimensions and all we have to see. So remember here. Okay. Let's assume, okay, so we see that if F is 0, then there is no change in velocity or the acceleration is 0. And if F and net, okay, net F is not equal to 0, then there is acceleration which will be equal to this. Now you know momentum is mass times of velocity. So rate of change of momentum kabhi bhi, okay, first thing, rate of change of any physical quantity I mean any physical quantity, rate of change of any physical quantity, I mean when I say rate of change of any physical quantity, I mean to say is rate the change of physical quantity. P means physical quantity with respect to time. I want to measure the change in that physical quantity with respect to change in time. Nothing means rate मतलब टाइम के साथ कितना चेंज हो रहा है, सिंपल. कभी भी रेट बोला जाए, कोई भी फिजिकल क्वांटिटी के पीछे उसका रेट लगा दूं तो मतलब वो टाइम के साथ कितना चेंज हो रहा है वो मैं मेजर करना चाहता हूं हमेशा. सो रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ दिस मोमेंटम विल बी, आपको डिफरेंशिएशन का पता है ना बच्चा? इफ आई डू दिस, any doubt, any doubts with this?
No, sir.
Okay, very good. So I am assuming in this case, this is product का differentiation is this. So I am assuming कि मेरा mass of the body is constant, कि हम जब force exert कर रहे हैं तो मेरा mass change नहीं हो रहा है. हम variable mass वाला भी देखेंगे कि अगर एक बॉडी पे जैसे कि अगर एक रॉकेट है, रॉकेट साइंस आपको पता है ना, रॉकेट के पीछे से फ्यूल निकल रहा होता है और रॉकेट ऊपर की तरफ भाग रहा होता है. तो जब ऊपर को कैसे भाग रहा है, जब यहाँ से फ्यूल निकल रहा है तो मतलब जो इसका नेट वेट है, जो मास ऑफ रॉकेट प्लस मास ऑफ फ्यूल, तो मास ऑफ रॉकेट तो कांस्टेंट है बट मास ऑफ फ्यूल इज कॉन्स्टेंटली चेंजिंग ना. मास ऑफ फ्यूल इज कॉन्स्टेंटली चेंजिंग. ये रॉकेट लेकिन ऊपर अपनी वेलोसिटी चेंज करते करते जा रहा है, तो मास ऑफ फ्यूल चेंज हो रहा है यहाँ पे, तो यहाँ पे मास भी चेंज हो रहा है. देखना हम लोग ये क्वेश्चंस करेंगे, ये रॉकेट साइंस वाला, तो इसमें देखेंगे हम लोग जो ये अपथ्रस्ट लग रहा है रॉकेट पे वो कितना है, हम ये सब क्वेश्चंस करेंगे. तो इस केस में मास भी चेंज हो रहा है, बट हम अज्यूम करते हैं अगर कि मास कांस्टेंट है, अगर फोर्स जो अप्लाई कर रहा है वो, इफ इट इज नॉट चेंजिंग द मास ऑफ द बॉडी, देन कैन आई से दैट रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ मास इज जीरो. Rate of change of mass is zero. So rate of change of momentum is nothing but mass times of rate of change of velocity. So this rate of change of velocity, can I say rate of change of velocity is acceleration? I can write it as this. Okay. So rate of change of momentum is mass times acceleration, and rate of change of momentum is the force exerted on the body. Clear है? It is like circle. अगर F है, F net है, अगर F net है तो फिर A है, F net नहीं है तो फिर A नहीं है. अगर F net है तो मोमेंटम चेंज हो रहा है, अगर मोमेंटम चेंज हो रहा है तो एक्सेलरेट हो रहा है, अगर एक्सेलरेट हो रहा है तो मोमेंटम चेंज हो रहा है, मोमेंटम चेंज हो रहा है तो फोर्स लग रहा है. ठीक है, अगर फोर्स नहीं लग रहा है तो मोमेंटम भी चेंज नहीं हो रहा है, मतलब एक्सेलरेट भी नहीं कर रहा है. अगर बॉडी रेस्ट पे है तो वो रेस्ट पे ही रहेगा, अगर बॉडी v वेलोसिटी के साथ जा रहा है तो v वेलोसिटी के साथ ही जाएगा, एक्सेलरेट वेलोसिटी चेंज ही नहीं होगा. सिंपल, यही है न्यूटन सेकंड लॉ. ओके, एंड न्यूटन्स थर्ड लॉ, to every action there is equal and opposite reaction. So there are action and reaction pairs which acts on separate bodies equally. So these are pretty much basics. Okay, सो ये सब तो सिंपल है, ये आप लोगों को मैं शीट्स में जैसे जैसे आगे पढ़ाते जाऊंगा वैसे वैसे शीट अपडेट करके मैं आपको फॉरवर्ड कर दूंगा. तो इसमें अभी तो ये शीट नहीं दे रहा आपको मैं, कुछ क्वेश्चंस करते हैं, उसको छोड़ो अभी. आप लोग को जो कि आपको इस जो एक्सपीरियंस चाहिए वो सब करते हैं, ये सभी बकवास है. ओके, ठीक है, grab your pen and papers and let's do these questions. Now assume this is the roof, there is a string and there is a body M, right? Now first is I have to identify the tension in this body. कितना है बताओ जल्दी. Very good. कैसे? So first of all you have to draw the free body diagram. फ्री बॉडी डायग्राम क्या है देखो, फ्री बॉडी डायग्राम के लिए you have to identify the system first. तो my system of analysis is this body. ठीक है, my system of analysis is this body. So when I consider this body, first force I have to identify, first I have to identify the system, second I will identify all the forces with direction, कि क्या क्या लग रहा है. तो इस बॉडी पे क्या क्या फोर्स लग रहा है, देखो इसका खुद का वेट वाला फोर्स लग रहा होगा जो अर्थ लगाएगा, which is equals to mass times of g, and it is a pull kind of force. ये पुल है, इसीलिए नीचे की तरफ है. I have told you this. Plus there is a string, so this string is a pull, this string will exert a pull kind of force on this body, and which will be, you assume that this pull kind of force is equals to T. So this is a pull kind of force, so both are in opposite direction. So now next you have to check whether the body is at rest or the body is moving. In this case the body is at rest, right? So body is at rest, that means F net is 0. So what is the F net? You assume this direction to be positive, you this direction to be negative. ठीक है, तो F net इस डायरेक्शन पे पॉजिटिव, तो T मेरा पॉजिटिव हो गया.
Sir, if the string is elastic?
We will discuss the not exactly elastic, we will discuss the questions related to spring force. Okay, whenever I talk about, okay, I think I haven't told you this, whenever I talk about a string, I consider it is massless, I consider it to be frictionless, I consider it to be inextensible. So if I assume that this string is inextensible, does it answers your question कि ये elastic है या नहीं है? ठीक है, so
Yes.
मैं ये assume कर ले रहा हूँ. ठीक है, और elastic वाला भी अच्छा inquisitiveness है, very good curiosity. We will discuss about spring force. Okay, स्प्रिंग फोर्स को हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे. जब हम स्प्रिंग फोर्स को डिस्कस करेंगे तो हम लोग ये देखेंगे कि कैसे कैसे इलास्टिक या फिर किसी चीज पे क्या होता है. ठीक है, मैकेनिकल प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ सॉलिड्स में आप लोग इलास्टिसिटी वगैरह सब पढ़ोगे. ठीक है, वो भी हम डिस्कस करेंगे, बट यहाँ पे ध्यान दे दो, ये मेरा assumption है. कीप इन माइंड व्हेनेवर नथिंग इज गिवन about the string, you have to assume that it is massless, it is frictionless, and it is inextensible. So this direction is negative, W, you should write it with negative sign, because this is positive, you wrote it with positive sign. This is negative, so you wrote it with negative sign. So this is your total F net. So T minus W is 0. So T is equals to W. So W is equals to mg. So your tension turns out to be mg. Itna sahi hai? Now, moving on to the next. Let's assume this is question number 2. Let's assume you have an inclined plane at an angle theta, and you have a body of mass m. Now tell me, what is the normal force? Quick. Okay.
mg cos theta.
So you have to do what? See, first thing, whenever incline, जब भी incline की बात आ रही है, प्लीज मेरी बात ध्यान से सुन लो. आप लोग जो भी क्वेश्चन कर रहे होगे ना, ये सारी चीजें इस डायरेक्शन पे सोचना होगा. ठीक है, डायरेक्शन, in which direction you must think, this is what you have to understand whenever I teach. So whenever you discuss about inclines, remember to identify the direction of motion. Remember to identify the direction of motion. ठीक है, अब ये बॉडी इस इंक्लाइन पे है, तो दिस बॉडी इज इट इन द, ओके, अगर ये मेरा हॉरिजॉन्टल फ्लोर पे होता तो ये बॉडी इसी डायरेक्शन पे मूव कर रहा होता ना, या फिर इस डायरेक्शन पे मूव कर रहा होता. ठीक है, बट अब ये इंक्लाइन पे है, तो ये बॉडी ऐसे मूव करेगा क्या, या फिर ऐसे मूव करेगा क्या, हॉरिजॉन्टल या फिर वर्टिकल मूव नहीं करेगा ना. योर बॉडी विल मूव, your body will move along the incline. Your body will move along the incline or perpendicular to the incline. These are the two cases. If there is a force perpendicular to the incline, then the body will be tending to move perpendicular to the incline. If it is along the incline, the body would be moving along the incline. ठीक है, इस direction पे. So the direction of motion is along the incline or perpendicular to the incline, or you can say normal to the incline. So that is why you have to take the, so this is why, which is along the incline. So this is why you have to take the components of forces. This is why you have to take components of the forces. Now, how will you, first you have to identify what all forces are there. So if you assume this to be your body, so again, एक weight force होगा जो कि mass times of g होगा. Weight force देखो हमेशा vertical की direction पे है, ठीक है. Mass force हमेशा vertical की direction पे है. ये vertical है, ये vertical है, ये horizontal है, ये perpendicular to the incline है, ये along the incline है. And आप हमेशा ध्यान रखो कि ये जो angle है, this is theta, ठीक है. This is along the incline, this is perpendicular to the incline, this is horizontal, and this is vertical. Okay, so in this direction there is weight force, and the normal force would be along this direction due to the contact between this. ठीक है, तो normal force आपको इस direction पे होगा, right? Now if this angle is theta, if this angle is theta, then can I say this angle will be theta, right? Because these two are, this is along the incline, this is perpendicular to the incline, so this angle is 90 degrees, and this angle is theta, so this angle becomes 90 minus theta. So again, this and this is horizontal and this is vertical. So if this is 90 minus theta, this complete is 90 degrees, so this angle is theta. कोई डाउट इसमें कि ये थीटा कैसे हो गया? Okay, so now this weight force, because n is already in the desired direction, that is perpendicular to the direction of motion. If this is the direction of motion, normal force is already in the desired direction, one of the desirable axis, which is perpendicular to the direction of motion. But mg is not in one of the desirable directions. What are your desirable directions? Your desirable direction is along the incline and perpendicular to the incline, isn't it? So the normal force is perpendicular to the incline, but mg is not. So you resolve this mg. You resolve this. When you resolve this, you have to take this कि ये mg का इधर पे एक कंपोनेंट और ये इधर पे एक कंपोनेंट, बिकॉज दिस इज एंगल थीटा, तो ये वाला कंपोनेंट जो है वो mg cos थीटा हो जाएगा और ये वाला कंपोनेंट mg sin थीटा हो जाएगा. ठीक है, तो ये mg sin थीटा इस डायरेक्शन में, ये mg cos थीटा इस डायरेक्शन में. now what I will say, the f net, let's assume the f net is equals to 0 in the perpendicular to incline, right? Perpendicular to the incline, f net is 0, but f net is not equal to 0 along the incline, right? F net perpendicular to the incline क्या आएगा? Which will be equal to n. अगर ये पॉजिटिव मान लो और इस डायरेक्शन पे नेगेटिव मान लो, तो n पॉजिटिव हो गया माइनस mg cos theta. F net in the perpendicular direction, F net in the along the incline direction पे क्या है? आपको सिर्फ और सिर्फ यही वाली वैल्यू है ना, which is mg sin theta, which is along this direction, है ना, downward the incline. बस यही फोर्स लग रहा है along the incline, और कोई फोर्स ही नहीं है. So this force अगर 0 के बराबर है, तो your n turns out to be mg cos theta. So my question was, what is the value of n? N turns out to be mg cos theta. ठीक है, because because f net is 0 in the perpendicular to the inclined direction. Cool. But in along the inclined direction, f net is not 0. So can I say that this mg sine theta will be equal to mass times of acceleration, and a will turn out to be g sine theta. So this question can be find out the time in which the uh, the body reaches the find out the time in which the body reaches the bottom of the incline. Okay, this height is given to you, this angle is given to you, and आपको टाइम निकालना है. तो आपको एक्सेलरेशन पता है कि इस डायरेक्शन में एक्सेलरेशन इज जी साइन थीटा. आपको ये वाली डिस्टेंस पता है, ठीक है, विच विल बी व्हाट, ये डिस्टेंस क्या हो जाएगा, क्विक, क्या होगा,
h cosec theta.
हाँ, h cosec थीटा. तो आपको डिस्टेंस पता है, आपको एक्सेलरेशन पता है, एंड इनिशियल वेलोसिटी आप मान लो ये रेस्ट पे था, तो s इज इक्वल्स टू हाफ at स्क्वायर लगा के आप t की वैल्यू निकाल सकते हो ना. ठीक है, ये क्वेश्चन है. आप if you solve the booklet you will find out such question. Okay, but in this question again my assumption is surface is smooth. I have assumed the surface is smooth. There is no friction in this surface. Okay, कोई doubt इसमें? Can I move on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, एक थोड़ा सा let's complicate a bit. Now assume, let's discuss this. अब मुझे टेंशन आइडेंटिफाई करो और एक्सेलरेशन ऑफ m1 आइडेंटिफाई करो, एक्सेलरेशन ऑफ m2 आइडेंटिफाई करो, ये काम. Right, so look at this, what we will do. Now again drawing free body diagrams. तो उसके लिए पहला अपना सिस्टम कंसिडर करो. My system is m1, first system. Second system is m2. Now assume that this wedge with different angles on both sides it is stationary, it is not moving, so this is fixed in the ground. So this is m2. Okay, so एक इस पे m1g का फोर्स लगेगा, वेट, इसका m2g का फोर्स लगेगा, वेट, ठीक है. इस पे एक नॉर्मल फोर्स लगेगा n2, इस पे एक नॉर्मल फोर्स लगेगा n1, ठीक है, और इस पे एक टेंशन लगेगा t, इस पे एक टेंशन लगेगा t. एनी डाउट कि मैंने फोर्सेस कैसे ड्रॉ करे हैं, प्लीज आस्क मी राइट नाउ. Okay.
So there's zero acceleration.
I haven't told you about any accelerations at all. I'm just asking ki this is the type of free body diagram we have to draw. Accelerations will be different. We will discuss accelerations. So this is the direction of forces and all. Any doubts ki maine, how did I draw the forces? How did I choose the direction of forces? अगर इसी पे ही डाउट है तो प्लीज आस्क मी राइट नाउ. Okay, so this is your horizontal, this was your vertical, this was your along the incline, this is your perpendicular to the incline. Same Same in this case, this is your horizontal, this is your vertical, this is your along the incline, this is your this is your along the incline, and this is perpendicular to the incline. And remember, in this case, the tendency of motion of these two bodies are along the incline, isn't it? These body are not supposed to move in this direction or in this direction, or neither in this direction or this direction, neither in this direction or this. These bodies will have tendency to move along the incline, isn't it? Right? So so if I assume, कि this body, this M2 body has an acceleration downwards as A2. So, and let's assume that this M1 body has an acceleration A1. So intuitively, can you say कि of course, if this body is moving down the incline, so this body will move up the incline. Can you say intuitively? Otherwise, if M1 body moves down the incline, so M2 body has to move up the incline. Intuitively, this is right. Okay, right. Now your next thing is, you have to find out the components. You have to resolve the forces, you have to find out the components, and then you have to equate it. So first of all, can I say that this angle is alpha, and can I say that this angle is beta? Okay, so if this angle is alpha, can I say this angle is alpha? If this angle is beta, can I say this angle is beta? Any doubts in this? How did I get the angle? Okay, so resolving this mg perpendicular to the incline will give me mg cos alpha, and in this direction I will get m1g sine alpha. Similarly, resolving this m2g, I will get m2g cos beta, and along this m2g sine beta. This c alpha means cos alpha, s beta means sine beta. Okay, and just to write the short form. So to have a clear picture, I'm redrawing these things again. So m1g sin alpha पर perpendicular to the plane में n1 है, और डाउनवर्ड परपेंडिकुलर में m1g cos alpha है, और इस पे परपेंडिकुलर टू द प्लेन में n2 है, और डाउनवर्ड परपेंडिकुलर में m2g cos beta है, और इस पे डाउनवर्ड इंक्लाइन पे m2g sin beta है, और अप में टेंशन. ठीक है, कोई डाउट इन सब में? ठीक है. एंड हमने क्या अज्यूम करा हुआ है कि ये बॉडी m1 जो है वो a1 के साथ ऊपर एक्सेलरेट कर रहा है, और ये a2 के साथ नीचे एक्सेलरेट कर रहा है. तो राइटिंग इक्वेशन ऑफ मोशन, writing equation of motion. So how do you write equation of motion? You know that if f net is 0, either f net is 0 or f net will be equal to mass times of body times acceleration, right? So you see, I have assumed the a1 acceleration along the incline, and in this case a2 acceleration is down the incline. But do I have any acceleration perpendicular to the incline? Yes or no?
No, sir.
Right. So can I say if there is no acceleration, that means there is net force on the body perpendicular to the incline is 0? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can I say for m1, can I say n1 will be equal to m1g cos alpha? Similarly, for m2, I can say n2 will be equal to m2g sin beta. ठीक है. And if f net is, and if I am saying ki along the incline, I have assumed there is acceleration along the
Sir,
incline.
N2 is M2G cos beta.
Oh yes, cos beta. ठीक, ठीक. Along the incline. Now the second case, along the incline, I have assumed that there is acceleration a1, or down the incline a2 है. So f net should be equal to mass times of acceleration. So what I will write? Remember f net is mass times of acceleration. Now remember, I have for m1 I have assumed the acceleration to be in this direction. So that means माई नेट फोर्स, फिजिक्स समझना इसके पीछे, ठीक है, जो नेट फोर्स है, नेट फोर्स is causing the m1 to accelerate upward incline with a1 acceleration. So net force का डायरेक्शन भी इसी डायरेक्शन पे होना है, ठीक है, वो तब होगा जब ये t is greater than m1g sin theta, isn't it? तब जाके ना ये इसको इस डायरेक्शन पे खींच पाएगा. सिमिलरली अगर ये m2 नीचे की तरफ एक्सेलरेट कर रहा है तो ये m12g sin बीटा को t से ज्यादा होना पड़ेगा, तभी जाके नीचे एक्सेलरेट करेगा. तो एफ नेट जब हम लिखेंगे तो फॉर m1 तो t माइनस m1g साइन अल्फा शुड बी इक्वल टू मास ऑफ द बॉडी टाइम्स ऑफ एक्सेलरेशन ऑफ द बॉडी. फॉर m2 you can write m1g m2g sin beta minus t is equals to m2 a2. क्लियर है ये वाला कैसे लिखें? कोई डाउट? Can I move on? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. आज के लिए इतना ही. We will discuss. अब देखो, I have how many variables in this? I know m1, I know m2 because these values would be given to you. I know g because this is a constant. If alpha is given to you, I can find out the sine and cos of alpha. If beta is given to me, I can find out sine beta and cos beta. ठीक है, all these values are known to me. But what are unknowns? Unknown is t, unknown is a1, unknown is a2, isn't it? So mind here, if there are three variables and I have two equations relating these three variables, isn't it? If I include these equations also, I am getting five variables, isn't it? Five variables. I am getting five variables if I include 1, 2, 3 and 4. I am getting five variables, but I have only four equations, right? I am getting only four equations. So it is not possible to find out all these five variables using only four equations. To solve five variables, I need five equations, isn't it? To solve five variables, I need five equations. So the fifth equation कहाँ से आएगा? Fifth equation आएगा ये a1 और ये a2 के बीच में, ये a1 और ये a2 के बीच में जो रिलेशन है ना, वो फिफ्थ इक्वेशन हो जाएगा, ठीक है. एंड इस इक्वेशन को कहेंगे हम लोग कंस्ट्रेंट इक्वेशन. कंस्ट्रेंट इक्वेशन, ठीक है. इस इक्वेशन को हम लोग कहेंगे कि कंस्ट्रेंट इक्वेशन है. ऑलराइट, तो ये हमारा फिफ्थ इक्वेशन हो जाएगा. एंड यूजिंग दीज फाइव इक्वेशंस आई कैन फाइंड आउट द वैल्यूज ऑफ ऑल दीज फाइव variables. Right, I am going to conclude today's class here and we will pick up from the constraint equations in the next class. Until then, your job is to solve few questions in the sheet which is visible to you. I think this first question is done and dusted. All right. This second question में you have to find out all the normal reactions and find out the acceleration. Okay, I'm going to ask one by one कि मुझे बताओ कि okay, ज्योत्सना, say yes.
Yes, sir.
हाँ, पहला वाला का जवाब दो मेरे को. क्या है एक्सेलरेशन इसका? मुझे बस नंबर नहीं चाहिए फाइनल, बस बता दो क्या लिखोगे तुम यहाँ पे. F इक्वल्स टू ma हो जाएगा, ठीक है. F कितना है यहाँ पे? 20 न्यूटन है. m कितना है 10 kg है
10.
तो a कितना हो जाएगा
2.
2 ठीक है 2 मीटर पर सेकेंड स्क्वायर बोलोगे ठीक है
Okay, sir.
ओके अद्वै
Yes,
tell me
sir.
about this see first thing draw the free body diagrams of 5 kg and 10 kg isn't it so you will say acceleration is all fine but important understand the physics how the bodies are moving so there is a 30 newton force on 5 kg right
Yes.
and there are two surfaces in contact this is 1 and this is 2 so there will be a force n1 in this direction and this contact surface will exert an n2
Yes.
force in this direction right
Yes.
and on this 10 kg this third surface and this second surface are in contact so same n2 force would be exerted in this direction and n3 force due to the ground will be in this direction any doubt in this किसी को भी doubt है पूछ सकता है अभी
No, sir.
okay so what is happening here you see f for 5 अगर मैं लिखूं 5 kg block के लिए f net कितना हो जाएगा if I am assuming the body is moving in this direction so 30 न्यूटन क्योंकि ये पॉजिटिव हो जाएगा अगर बॉडी इस डायरेक्शन में मूव कर रहा है और इस डायरेक्शन नेगेटिव हो जाएगा सो 30 पॉजिटिव माइनस n2 नेगेटिव है तो इसी के नेगेटिव n2 इज इक्वल्स टू मास ऑफ द बॉडी विच इज 5 kg टाइम्स ऑफ एक्सेलरेशन ठीक है प्लस 10 kg के लिए अगर लिखोगे तो दिस n2 will drive the 10 kg block ये एक्सेलरेशन ऑफ 5 है ये एक्सेलरेशन ऑफ 10 है इतना क्लियर है
Yes, sir.
if you now what is happening see how this 10 kg block is moving everyone listen to this the 10 kg block is moving because not due to the 30 newton force the 10 kg block is moving because of this normal force this normal force is enabling see this equation tells you whatever the acceleration this 10 kg block has it is due to this normal force okay it is not due to this 30 newton force 30 newton तो 5 kg पे लगा रहा है 5 kg क्या कर रहा है in return adequate amount of normal force 10 kg block पे लगाएगा ताकि ये 10 kg block भी accelerate करे now what are these a5 and a10 की value if you assume this collective x system अगर मान लोगे 5 kg और 10 kg को तो दोनों का weight mass हो जाएगा 15 और अगर एक कलेक्टिव उसका एक्सेलरेशन a ले लोगे सो ये 30 हो जाएगा right if you assume both to be moving always in contact तो a will turn out to be 2 meter per second square and this same a will be a5 का भी और a10 का भी और a5 का भी ठीक है तो उससे आप नॉर्मल रिएक्शन भी बता सकते हो कि n2 की वैल्यू कितनी है n2 की वैल्यू कितनी हो जाएगी 20 न्यूटन ठीक है क्लियर है ना इसमें एनी डाउट्स अगर आप ये इक्वेशन भी यूज करो तो आप देखो 30 minus n2 is equals to 5 times 2 so n2 is what 30 minus 10 is 20 newton so both of these equations are giving me same values so the normal reaction between the 10 kg block and 5 kg block is 20 newton all right and the acceleration of both the blocks is 2 meter per second square समझ में आ रहा है कैसे सॉल्व करना है अरविंद is it clear to you
Yes, sir.
आदित्य
Yes, sir.
clear कोई डाउट
Sir, that means A equals to A10 equals to A5.
no बच्चा no बच्चा
You're putting two
what
there.
no बच्चा A5 is equals to A10 what did I say here where कहाँ गया when I wrote this equation what did I say here that if you consider these two blocks to be composite दोनों का मास मैंने ऐड कर दिया ठीक है और 30 न्यूटन फोर्स बोला कि दोनों के मास को कंपोजिट पे 30 न्यूटन फोर्स लग रहा है ठीक है, तो दोनों का मिला के एक्सेलरेशन ए हो गया। क्लियर ये बात, पहला पॉइंट। दूसरे पॉइंट में कह रहा हूं कि मैं अब जब इसको मूव कर रहा हूं, व्हेन आई एम मूविंग दिस बॉडी, तो दिस सरफेस इज ऑलवेज इन कॉन्टैक्ट। ठीक है, this surface is always in contact. If this surface is always in contact, then this same acceleration will get equal to both of these. A5 will be equal to, sorry, A5 will be equal to A10 will be equal to A. Because why is this? This is a constraint equation. This is the constraint equation here. Why is this so? This is so because since this surface is in contact always. This is my constraint here. If this surface is not contact always, then these A5 and A10 values would be different. Because this surface is in contact, my constraint is A5 and A10 must always be same. And same to what value? Same to the value of the composite acceleration of both the masses. Got it? Clear hai Advay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think I will complete it here. ये conclusion है class का. This third question is regarding drawing the free body diagrams. Draw the free body diagrams. We will discuss this in the next class. Question number 4 also you can do. Question number 5, 6, 7, 8 कर सकते हो, 9 मत करना. 5, 6, 7, 8 कर देना. हम लोग नेक्स्ट क्लास में से कंस्ट्रेंट इक्वेशन में से चालू करेंगे. ठीक है, we'll understand how to solve the constraint equations. ठीक है, आपका काम है 5, 6, 7, 8 तक सारा क्वेश्चंस कर देने का. ठीक है, got it? Can I conclude here?
Yes, sir.
Okay guys, so that's it for today. We'll continue pick up from here in the next class. Thank you guys.